and make it easy for me. If it's not the right thing, then let me just have an accident right now and let me die in a car accident. I just don't want to do the wrong thing. I don't want to go to hellfire. Every time I try to abandon the Quran and leave it, something just brings me back to it. So that was the first thing that Jesus says and comes out of his mouth since he was a baby, that he is a servant of God and that he is not God. My name is Ruba Dahoud Kewar. I am originally from Jordan. My parents are from Jordan. I was born in Denmark, and then when I was 5 years old, my parents decided to go back to Jordan because my father became a pastor in an evangelical church. We used to live in the second floor above the church. Literally, like the first floor is the church and the second floor that would be our house. I was my father's right hand. I used to help him in the church, giving lessons and biblical studies for the children, and also I was in the youth program, and so I was a happy camper in the church. I didn't have anything to worry about. So I used to help my uncle a little bit in the church, and then I started working, going to school, and so on. After a few months, we learned that my father was diagnosed with colon cancer, and he died in 2003. Probably this traumatic experience of having a father died made me really think about life again and start questioning about my faith and everything. I studied Buddhism, I studied Hinduism, and then I started Sikhism. Was mostly, for Punjabi and Indians, which now I know that it is not true, but this is how it started anyway. Then I went to college, and then when I was in college, I met with some friends who were Muslims. and they spoke my language. And we started talking a little bit about Christianity and Islam. So what she does is she points at Jesus, baby Jesus, and Jesus speaks. And the first thing he says, Inni Abdullah, that means I am the servant of Allah. That was a wow, like, you know, so that was the first thing that Jesus says and comes out of his mouth since he was a baby, that he is a servant of God and that he is not God. Every time I try to abandon the Quran and leave it, something just brings me back to it. Then I read the very next verse in the Quran where it says that, and if they hear the verses of Allah or what it was revealed to them, their eyes start tearing and saying, "O our Lord, we have believed, write us among the witnesses." And immediately I start crying when I read this verse, and I was like, "Oh Allah, write me among the witnesses. I believe." And I believed. I went to my friends and I told them I want to become a Muslim. And before I reached to them, I was in my car just thinking about it. That's a big step that I'm going to be doing. What is my mom going to do? They're going to be so angry from me. And I was crying and I was like, you know, asking Allah. I was very desperate and I told him, "Oh Allah, if this is the right thing, then make it easy for me. If it's not the right thing, then let me just have an accident right now and let me die in a car accident. I just don't want to do the wrong thing. I don't want to go to hellfire."